Hello, and welcome to Marathon Swim Stories, where we connect with marathon swimmers around the world to find out how they got started, what makes them tick, and why they keep going. It's where we explore the human side of the superhuman feats of endurance swimmers, the connections that we have with each other, our support crew, and the waters we cross. If you've ever stood at the edge of a body of water and wondered what it would be like to swim to the other side, you're in good company. I'm Shannon Keegan, marathon swimmer, water relationship coach, and founder of Intrepid Water, where I virtually teach swimming freedom. Freedom to get started, shed the confines of the pool, or your preconceived notions of what's possible. Find out more at intrepidwater.com. Hello. Today, I'm excited to share with you the Marathon Swim Stories Summer Series. It's been a bit of a busy summer for me as the world's opening back up. I can't always track people down for interviews. So I thought it would be fun to do a remix of some of the questions asked of guests in season 1. I hope that you'll enjoy this series. I look forward to some fresh conversations around September. Until then, I always love to hear from you. You can drop me a line anytime, shannon@intrepidwater.com. And as always, thank you for listening. Please tell your friends about the podcast, share these amazing stories, and just keep swimming. Why do you swim marathons?
Yeah, like I said, number one is the people, really. I think there's also a healthy dose of testing my limits and trying to see what I'm capable of. That was probably the initial thing, like when I was in college and I was like, hey, this seems like a fun challenge. Like that was it. But then like now I just keep coming back for the people. You know, I've been fortunate to be able to travel to a couple different events, and it's like the event is obviously the big draw, but also there's just such an event around it. Just like, you know, going up to Kingdom Swim and doing one of those long swims, but also then like the party on the beach afterwards. And like going out to Mercer Islands, like the dinner the night before, and like meeting new people like this only in person, and, you know, bonding over that experience, I think is really one of the other big draws for me. Cool. And that's not unique to marathon swimming, but like these are I don't know, like there's a certain mindset that we all share because of this really weird sport that is.
Yeah, exactly. We all get each other. Like,
but I do. I like to see how far can I go. It's very very simple, but it's how far can I go.
Some
and
people
I'm happy when
want
I'm swimming, so it's like if I can swim for longer, then I'll be happier, right?
Yeah,
that's how that works.
I swim marathons because I feel like the training and the moment that I'm in the event, I feel like I learn a lot about myself, and it's never what I anticipated learning. My first few years that I did it, I feel like I learned a lot of really negative traits about myself. And then the next time I was involved in a swim, tried to manage those emotions better. I felt like there were definitely times when I first started swimming that I forgot about all of their life around me and probably wasn't the best person to be around. When I got those race anxieties and just the short-sightedness of what I was doing. And I really wanted to learn to be able to do both, to be able to swim and to be a pleasant person to be around, and to not be snippy with my partner and to give up on my work and things like that. So I feel like each time I take on a swim, it's like a peeling away an onion.
Somebody asked me this question after I had like 4 drinks one day at an event, and somebody was interviewing me, and they're like, why do you swim marathons? I'm like, because I can. and I'm always like, every time somebody asks me that question, I go back to that moment, and I was like, I'm so amazed. I don't mean this arrogantly, but like, I've never done anything athletic in my life. I was a stoner kid, like, and I got good grades and I worked hard. So this whole thing is still so new to me. And so I kept pushing to see where my happy place, where it stopped being happy. And I haven't hit that yet. And I was supposed to do the length of Tahoe this summer, which is not going to happen. I can't make that big a jump without training. But, 9 hours so far is still pretty happy. So I don't know where my end is.
It's just, I like the people, and I like, because I was into like triathlon and everything, and people are still competitive in swimming, but it's a lot more social. It's more laid back, and just the swimming part is just meditative. So like, I hate cycling. So I don't have to cycle. Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't really know. Some of it is falling in with the wrong crowd, making friends with people like Greg. And I think there's more to it, though, than just that for me. It's I like the challenge. And I think some of it was perfect timing. Greg asked me about that just as I was finishing grad school. So I was like ready for the next thing. And I think for me, it's just it's a way to celebrate being alive. And see the world. And I mean, I've seen places I never would have had the opportunity or a reason to visit otherwise, like Northern Idaho. Why the hell would I go to Northern Idaho? And now it's like one of my most favorite places on earth with some of my most favorite people. So, it's really kind of expanded my horizons. And so it's a good excuse to travel. But the physical also, it's a moving meditation for me. And so it's very good for my mental health.
What is swim freedom? It's the freedom to start swimming when you don't think you have the skill, ability, or time. The freedom to swim with ease. The freedom to enjoy your time in the water. The freedom to swim further than you ever thought possible. What's holding you back? Let's talk about it. Shannon at intrepidwater.com. How do you describe the feeling of completing a marathon swim?
It's funny because like there's always a little bit of sadness because I'm like, oh, now it's over. And like, now I have to stop swimming. But also it's like, I feel like finishing is still just a small part of the whole bit, right? Because like there's all of the training and then like the whole time that you're swimming, and then it's just like the finish is, there's not really a feeling of relief. It's more just like, oh, it's over. And then immediately for me, it switches to, okay, what's next? So like, it's a good feeling, but it's like, all right, it's just part of the process of, we did it. Take a moment to celebrate, have a nap, have a beer, move on to the next one.
What's next?
In which order?
Have a beer and then have a nap.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Pretty much when I finish, I'm like, thank God that's over. There's a lot of relief. A lot of relief. I'm not one of those person who breaks into tears or jumps up and does a little dance. I pretty much pull myself into the boat or stand on the shore. And I think I have probably like 15 or 30 pictures of me standing bent over with both my hands on my knees, just kind of shaking my head in disbelief that just happened, and that I, just not being able to fully comprehend what just happened and how tired I am and what it means for the next swim. And so pretty much happy to be done.
Yeah.
I am always happy. I am. And I tend to do more events than solos. Actually, Tahoe last summer was my first sort of solo thing. So to me, it's the social part too. As for those of you who know Morty or knew Morty, he once said to me, he's like, you're a social swimmer in a solo sport. And he was very right about that. But I loved, I'm like, oh, yay, everybody's done, because everybody's already done. I'm like, you have the cocktail for me. And I'm usually a very happy person at the end, too. I don't go too negative. Everybody goes negative at some point in your head. And I usually say to myself, this is your happy place. You just spent, 6 months of your life training for this. Like, enjoy the moment. And I'm usually pretty good about pulling it back in. And so, yeah, I'm happy to finish. I'm a little sad too, although I do find that I always have something else planned. So I know it won't be the last one.
It depends on the swim. Sometimes relief that is done. Sometimes it's a 2-3 days before it's or a week, 2 weeks before it actually sinks in what you've actually done. Sometimes it's annoying because you're having a really good swim, you switched off and you're in your happy place, and then all of a sudden it's over. And it's like, oh, it's done. So yes, I think it depends on the swim, depends how I feel at the end of it.
Utter relief.
Well said.
There's usually a sense of relief. Often there's some exhaustion and maybe a little bit of pain. Usually a lot of gratitude that I had the ability to do it and that I had the support to make it happen, because these things don't happen in a vacuum. There's usually a whole bunch of people who are probably at least as tired as I am, if not more so, because they've been up all night and they've been, having to deal with the boat and the seasickness and stuff. So, it's a real mixed bag of emotions. I think for me, there's more power in the doing than in the completion. But yeah, it does feel good to finish.
Thank you to Kelly Latimer, Cindy Werhane, Janine Sorrell, Elizabeth Almond, Elaine Howley, Colleen Blair, and Susie Dodds for sharing your thoughts and introspections on marathon swimming as part of Marathon Swim Stories. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you were inspired by even just a moment of this story, please share it with a friend. You never know what might push someone out of their comfort zone so that they can find out what they're capable of. And please leave a review with your podcast provider. It truly helps others discover the raw and honest stories of these amazing endurance swimmers. Thanks for listening.